What are you doing? Huh? There was a time when these things ran wild all over this area. And then the great state of New Jersey decided that they would do a thing called semi-wild. And they started buying pheasants from local pheasantries and well, they created pheasantries, and now they have one up in Hackettstown. But when they started releasing these birds out into the wild, they had a thing called coccidia. Now, these birds are treated for coccidia when they're being raised at the hatchery or at the pheasantry. B&B Pheasantry was one. There were several pheasantries around. But they were treated for coccidiosis and coccidia, or whatever you want to call it, and the wild ones were not. So what happened was, and he thinks he's being smart and hiding, but he's not. What happened was these released birds contaminated the wild birds with coccidia, and our wild pheasants all went the way of the dodo. So now what we get, every once in a while there will be a couple of survivors. I think semi-wild is now over for the year, and what we get is we get these release birds that don't have any brain in their head, and what happens is the coyotes and the fox get them. Whereas before, we had fox before, coyotes we haven't had until recent years, the last 20 years, but those birds are smart. We still have turkeys, and turkeys can get away from coyotes and still survive here, but the pheasants, that coccidia from the released birds is what took them out. So anyways, I just figured I'd give you a little history lesson on why we don't have the ringneck pheasant anymore. I mean, when I was a kid, I was about 10, 11 years old, my dad would take me hunting, small game hunting, and I never personally, I did shoot a couple of pheasants, wild pheasants when I was little. I have to remember this, but for the most part, by the time I was 13, 14 years old, all the wild pheasants were gone. So we're looking at, mid-80s, the wild pheasants were gone. But back in the 60s and 70s, before I was born in the 60s, but in the 70s, it was nothing to see flocks of 50, 60 of these birds. They were wild, they were here, and that was what we would hunt. It was pheasants, rabbits, squirrels, and what else? Quail. We had bobwhite quail. But they're gone. I haven't heard of bobwhite quail in a long, long time. And I think that's part of the coccidia, too, from the bobwhite quail. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you liked that one.